Very good. And it's a welcome to Radio FM 88. It's Dreaming the New Dream. And naturally enough, there is a segment here in our show that I need to play. Okay, Andrina, all back to you, mate.
Okay, mate. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dreaming the New Dream. And today it's the 15th of August, 2024. And I'm coming live from Glastonbury, and Joe's up. Remind me where you are, Joe, up north? I've forgotten.
Nottingham,
right. Thank you. I should know that. Anyway, without further ado, it's my pleasure to have the beautiful Dr. Joe back on again. I don't know where we're going to go with everything today, because you've just been not long back from the Bosnian Pyramids. You want to help people to heal themselves naturally through water, crystals, and look at their emotions and all of these amazing things. So welcome, Joe, and it's lovely to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. I really, really loved our experience together before, and we've just had a very interesting chat for the last 30 minutes. So, yeah, delighted, and welcome everybody. If you don't know me, I'm very passionate about people, health, and new earth that we're creating. So thank you very much to Carol for the words that she's just written, because this is true. We create our reality. And what I've been working with water the last few years, I've realized when you work with water, your reality is manifest much more quickly and easily, because everything is water. And, we started on this journey, and people like cleansing the water, getting rid of the toxins, and then structuring the water. And oh, sorry, you've just gone there. But what I've found is the more that I've worked with water, particularly structuring water, and then the more that I've gone to, say, springs and wells and talked about water, the more I've been activated and awakened, and the more that I've healed. Particularly, I'm talking like long-term emotional trauma, or childhood things have just left me much more quickly. And a group of us have noticed this from starting to work with the water, because your DNA, the backbone of your DNA, is oxygen and hydrogen, OH groups. It is water, and water is a software code, and your brain's a computer. You don't have any thoughts. People don't even, they've proven this, thoughts don't exist in your brain. Your brain literally reads information, and that information is coded like software codes, noughts and ones, not ones and zeros, which is water, which is the hydrogen and the oxygen. So you can encode information in water, and they've proven it. I think it's something like a gigabyte you can put in a drop of water, and so you've got information.
Really?
And so it's a lot. So it's just how they're structured, how you arrange those oxygen and hydrogen molecules to be able to get a code. And that's why water has memory. And they're starting to prove this more and more. You can buy, even now, this is how easy it is. Before, they were talking maybe 5 years ago about water-based chips for computing. Now you can go in Alibaba and buy one of the chips and build your own water-based computer.
Wow.
Because the beauty of it, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? Because the beauty of it is that because you've got this medium that can be transformed, it doesn't age, it doesn't die. And so you hear about these hydrogen cars. They're really water cars. Do people know this? It's structured water releasing hydrogen and oxygen in order for it to burn. So absolutely everything is water. We are made of water, and water is really two electromagnetic fields where when in combination with a frequency, can create structure, which you think is our reality, which things are solid. And of course, nothing is solid. So the blueprint of the baseline of everything that you see around you, it is actually water. And when you go to the Bosnian Pyramids, you can see water everywhere. And it is structured water, and it is plasma water. So I don't want to go on for ages and ages, but I just want to explain to you what plasma looks like, and you can see plasma water. Do you know the hazy wobbly bits? You see the sun, like that's plasma water. And when you go to the Bosnian Pyramids, Jeff, it is everywhere. You are living in plasma water, which is why people have such a profound experience when they go into the tunnels or spend time there, because it's literally connecting with the very being of you, which is water.
What percentage? Because I've seen people say we're 70%, we're 75%, we're 90%. What sort of percentage do you think we are of water?
They're all right. They're just talking about whether you're talking about it by molecular weight, by volume, by number of atoms.
Pass.
Yeah, exactly. So they're all right. So when they're talking about 70%, they're probably talking about mass, and then volume is different thing. But when you look at it from a molecular level, it's probably more like 99.9%.
Wow.
It's much higher than that. So not like with everything, and obviously I've got a science background and I was brought up in that discipline, and I've been working in science and engineering and new technology for 25 years in all sorts of different disciplines. All that discipline is based on what you can physically measure. So it's a physical things, and that is an approximation about what's going on. So they make correlations between physical characteristics that you can measure. But quantum physics is quite a different thing. And the best way to explain it is, if I'm going to describe a house, but if I'm an architect or something, I might describe it from, what it looks like. It's got, these beams and this roof, etc. I'd be correct. But if I was a chemist and I was looking at, what the bricks are made of and what the wood's made of, I'd describe it differently. If I was an artist, I'd describe it differently. It's still a house. It's a different perspective. And quantum physics is the ultimate, way of looking at atoms and the world around us, because 99.99999% of an atom is nothing physical. It is all electromagnetic fields. And so we study and try and make approximations of the 0.00001%. And it's an approximation. So if I look at me and I'm a 3D and I look at my shadow is a bit like I'm saying, quantum physics is much more detailed. So let's say it's a higher dimension. It's got more aspects to it. So when you're looking at the 3D version of me, it's a simplified version. Like when you look at the shadow of me, you can tell it's me, but there's lots of things you cannot tell from a shadow. And just like from a 3-dimensional point of view, there's lots of things you don't understand about the interactions than if you were looking in other dimensions, and have other aspects. So this is the problem with our 3D world and the 3D engineering and scientific way of looking at things, is they draw approximations. That isn't, and that's why it's not like the real thing. And if we want to start operating, because we are not just 3D, if we want to start operating fully and really take advantage of what we're made of, we'll start working in the quantum. And one of the quantum materials is water.
Just like that.
Just like that. Just like that. So has anybody listened to Dan Winter? Do you guys know who he is?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I've come across him recently, I think, but I'm not 100% sure at this moment in time. But go on.
So Dan Winter, for the last 30 years, has been researching the science of spirituality and consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
And when he speaks, it's one of these strange feelings when he talks so much jargon and quantum physics that your brain is going, but your soul is going, I don't know why I want to keep listening, but this feels right.
Yeah.
And the way that he explains things and is really beautiful, and it's obviously based on quantum scientific principles, which can be more proven than say the 3D counterpart. But he tries to bridge that gap, and that's what I do. I kind of call myself a spiritual scientist, make that crossover. But effectively, your pineal gland is, and in and around that area, just at the bottom of the seat of it, is a black hole. Where in which things can be created. And in that black hole, you have charge, which when it collapses, creates your reality. Okay, this is really complicated to think about, but you are in control of this black hole. It's at the seat of your pineal gland. This is why activating pineal gland is so important. And it seems to affect the medium in which you live, which is water, which is where you've seen Dr. Emoto's work where he was able to put his intention in water. That's because you have this black hole device in your brain, which is activated by your intention, which can be measured. You can measure, like he's done experiments where you can measure, the rising of the fluid from your spinal column. There's lots of ways of being able to measure this. You can put your intention in water, and what you're doing is, because we're living in virtual reality, you're lining up those noughts and ones and zeros. You're programming the water. And this is where Dr. Emoto's work comes in, where he's been able to speak to water. And then when you freeze it, i.e. make it go slower, that's what it is, you can then visualize it with your eyes, which work on a certain spectrum. And I wonder, Jeff, while you're here, if you maybe share those couple of pictures I shared to you earlier. And
because I thought it was coins.
Okay.
But do you want us to keep talking? Did you say no problem?
Yeah. So if anybody has seen this works, there are different methods of freezing water, and Dr. Emoto was the first person to show this, but he showed it in a number of experiments. Like he spoke. I believe it was him. Somebody spoke poorly to a jar of rice, and then spoke well to a jar of rice. And the rice that he spoke more poorly of degraded over time, much more quickly than the ones that you spoke well of. And that is really using this black hole of your mind and these intentions. And therefore, how you speak about yourself is very important. And myself and Kelly Hinson, who were doing the crystal water experience, we explain our experience working with people. People will introduce themselves. Hi, my name is whatever they say, Jean, and I'll be walking with them or talking with them, and they'll say, "Oh, sorry, I can't walk very fast. I've got such and such." Or they say, "Oh, yes, how are you doing? I'm all right today, but I'm not feeling so well because I've got whatever it is, a list." It's a list. Yeah. They have got into a habit of defining themselves by their illness, and they are putting that program inside them. And what happens is people get injured, have an injury, and then that injury heals, but the memory of that injury carries on, and they continue and continue. So we are about breaking that cycle, and it's once people have been held on to something for very long, it becomes their identity, and they don't want to get rid of it. And this is just an example. So this water you can see I got from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. Now you can see there are pyramids.
And there's one right in the middle. I mean, it's just incredible.
It's absolutely
the main one.
That's right. And it looks like a plateau. It's pretty much how the plateau has been created in that area. And this wasn't very difficult to do. You just get a petri dish with a lid on. You have to do it with a control, because otherwise people will say, well, how do you know it wasn't your intentions going in there and things like this? So I haven't given it to you, but I got a control straight out of the tap. And you just put about a mil in just to cover the surface. You put it in the freezer and you do very quick freezing. You want the first frozen layer, and then the hardest thing is actually taking the picture, right, to try and see through, because it melts really quickly. So that was a Pyramid of the Moon. And then I don't even got the other one. This is the one that came out of on the same day. I took the water on the same day, and that's the Pyramid of the Sun. And you can even see like these rays coming out of it. There's like almost like a tree or something in the middle.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and this is repeatable. You don't just get it once. You just got to be careful with not mixing things in it and putting your intentions and things. So I brought this water back from Bosnia, from the Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon, and Pyramid of the Dragon, because water contains information. And what I'm learning more and more is many of our wells, particularly in developed countries, they're being capped off and people don't have access to them. This is the other interesting thing about Bosnia. It used to be known as Illyricum, which looks to me very much like Lyran, like Lyra. And it was a queen who reigned over this place. It was very peaceful, advanced, wonderful culture. And then a king came in who found gold and mining, and all of a sudden it became pretty war-torn and fought over, and has been ever since. So this is this typical story that we hear in these in our history about, you know, this switching of our times, and there's different layers of our times. But you know, she was absolutely beautiful, very advanced and peaceful, productive, you know, civilization. And so with these wells around, we're finding them here, and people are starting to wake up to this. It isn't because they want to protect you from any bugs or anything in the water, because you know they're very happy to have arsenic and nitrites and lead and arsenic and all the other things in the tap water. They don't seem to mention that at all. And we've had several outbreaks in the UK of filthy water, where muck has been put into the rivers. They don't seem to, you know, worry about that. So it isn't about that. These springs, you know, from the Glastonbury spring, how wonderful it is. But you see that there was a period of time, and it's really happened in the last 50 years, where they have blocked all these wells by putting concrete over them. Now, the real reason is that water contains information. We're supposed to be connected to the water because it's got software code for us that gives us vitality, but also connects us. And that's why they've taken over. In the UK, we've got several like used to be local springs where they were, you know, selling bottled water. They've all been taken over by Nestle.
Yeah, of course.
They're selling our water back to us. And when it's coming back to us in their plastic bottles and through their processing plant, it is not living water anymore. They kill the water. And that can be proven, that can be shown. You can see it by the water freezing experiments. You can look at the amount of electrolytes in it. You can measure its charge, because water does have a charge. It's a polar molecule. And it's literally, by the time they give it to you, it's dead.
Yeah.
So, but when you go to the spring, the Buxton Spring, I've got some pictures of that actually, Jeff. I might have to scoot through. What I've been doing is I've brought that original source water, because the UK is the worth, and you can just see the spring there, and where people can just go and fill up. Now, every town, every village would have had one of these.
Yeah.
And it's extremely healthy living water. It's full of hydrogen ions. It's structured, and it is extremely healthy. Oh, here we go. The chair of Nestle once said water is not a human right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
karma is on its way.
Yeah. But what you find, and even when you find these places, if you can see this cenotaph, this is something else I want to draw people's attention to. It is right on that line, right on that spring line. And they deliberately do this, which is why at the outside of most churches, you'll find these obelisks as a war memorial. And what they're doing is on those ley lines or on the spring water lines, they put these memorials because these people sacrifice themselves for a cause. Now, we all know how wars are created, but nevertheless, this is an amazing sacrifice. We are not invited to go to these places to be grateful and bring thanks and love for these people that sacrifice themselves and joy that we live in this free society. We are welcome to come here and be miserable, and as miserable as possible. So they are harvesting the negative thoughts from the people. They only see it from that point of view. They're always very somber. There's one time of the year where they gather people around these energy points for them to pour their misery and suffering into, for it to be, you know this, right? And but like everything else, their infrastructure can be repurposed, which is what I do. So that particular place, I took the pyramid water, which I know has the information that our country, particularly the UK, is missing. And I flipped the energy. I flipped it to be gratitude, peace, love, thankful. And all you need to do is work with your intentions and water, and ideally crystals, because crystals really hold the frequency. So where's the crystals? They're all made, all of these monuments are all made of stones. So that's why you are programming the crystal in the stone. So I would encourage people to take back these places for the good. And here is, I want to just show people today how you can, that's actually, if you can go to, Jeff, I've got a picture like on top of the pyramid by me, which has got like some blue in the picture. I want to just talk about that a second. It's got like a jar and, sorry, I'll just give it to him random.
Oh, he's good at that.
It's right. So there's this and another pyramid. So this and another picture, but this is on top of a pyramid near me, and it's next to Hemlock Stone. Nobody knows that it's a pyramid, but it is. It is laid out as a pyramid. It's got water running beneath it like a pyramid. It is. You look at this. What the council bought 6.39 hectares of land, a very specific number. The Queen Elizabeth II, there was a celebration, a Druid celebration on top of Hemlock Stone, which is just down next to it. Yeah, leave it on that one, that'd be great. And they lit a fire on top, and there's all these Druids going there. King George III came there and sacrificed a bull. I mean, this is, without being disrespectful to Saferford, this is nowhere, and yet it's been used in this ritual. And there's many other evidences that this is a powerful place. It's also built on red sandstone with quartz in. It's got all the hallmarks of a place. So for the 888 portal, I wanted to show you this picture because I'm going to be using this structure, and I've used it many times before, to put in the intentions I want to put in here, and not the misery and pain and suffering they have. So in this picture, I created this little area. So you can see, like, there's I put all the elements in there. So there's the earth, the fire from the, you just see there's a incense stick, the feather, air, and the water, and I brought the water from the pyramid there. It's also got that orgone pyramid, because orgone pyramids really generate a lot of energy. And what I just want people to notice from this picture is what I did is I wrote down my intentions for this. So I wrote peace and love and unity, consciousness, abundance of positive things. I'm also always very clever.
Yeah.
You don't want an abundance of grief. And I wrote them all on a piece of paper, and then I burnt that piece of paper. And I just took some pictures quickly, because then I was just toddling down. I didn't think anything of it. But what you notice about that picture, what colour is everything?
Blue.
Yeah, but it was not blue.
Really?
It was not blue. So my camera picked up the frequency of what happened during that time. So that is a clear quartz next to the pyramid structure. The candle is not blue. The feather is white. That paper is burnt paper, right? So it's grey. It's grey and white. And if you go back to that other picture, Jeff, the other one, what I found really interesting, if you just look at, actually, it might not have come out so well on here. Maybe. Was there another one, or maybe not? I'm just gonna. Oh no. Oh yes, there might have been one more. Yeah, no, it's hard to see. Yeah, so just zoom in a little bit for. Yeah, that was the right one. Just got to try and show people something. No, it's hard. No, it's hard to see. It's just not got the right resolution. But I've got a picture of the smoke coming out of the incense. That's blue. When you look into which is next to the candle, so it's not in that picture, Jeff. And then there's some stones in the background that have also turned completely blue. They're not blue, but when you zoom in, it's picked up the colour.
Wow, that's amazing.
I was like,
fantastic.
What? So this shows you that this works, and I'm all about this. So a couple of other times this has happened to me. These are the things to look out for, the signs. I always ask for a sign because then it gives you confidence that you're not driving crazy. Yeah. We also did this at Arbolo, and I was expecting some kind of to see some sign, like I've seen a rainbow before. My friends have seen like plasma flashes in the sky and all sorts of brilliant things. And I couldn't see anything, and I was, I was like, oh, okay, it's all right. It still works, but I wanted to see something. And as we got off to walk along, the ley lines got very warm. It was like putting your feet in a bath, and we were like, "What is going?" And that lasted for about 10 minutes. When I did the Buxton and I flipped the energy there, I went down to go and get some water because I was like, I'm not getting in water before. So I flipped it, then I went to get the water. I was like, this water's hot. It was really warm. It was the best way to describe it. Not hot, not boiling hot, but really warm. And I said, is this water normally warm? And they said, yeah, because I went with my friend who's been there before, and she said, but not this warm. So then we left it like an hour, went back, and it went back to its normal water temperature. It was at least 5 degrees warmer. So I've got to try now and record this with with a measuring tool. But what I found is once you've flipped it, this is just advice. This is what I want to encourage people to do.
Yeah, of course.
Intentions matter, and when you work with water and these crystals, these structures, things are happening for the good, right? So warm always means a positive upspin vortex, right? So you listen to Dan Winter, he explains this. So this is higher, raising the frequency. This is raising that. But once you've done one place, I've gone back to it and I don't get the same effect. It happens once. So I'm now armed with some information to start going to measure these things, like either through pictures or temperatures or things like this. But I would encourage people to pay attention, because you will get signs.
Yeah.
They're not signs. They're these quantum. You're working in the quantum, and you'll see quantum physics effects. So this is what I want to encourage people to do in their land around them. But also they can work on themselves as well. Once they realize how powerful this is, and this is how we can start working on ourselves.
Right, let's start with, if I can interrupt you there, because I've done it for donkey's years. Wherever I go near a river or I'm in the ocean or any water, I always do my own little ritual. I say, I bless you and blah, 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 and I've done it for donkey's years. So what would be a good start for people? What would you say? Because obviously a lot of people are already doing this and we all work differently, but we're working for the collective as a whole. What guidance would you give now? Because I'm in Glastonbury for a few days and then I'm off to Bath. I'm, me out and about. So I'm going to the spring at Coxley, because both waters, I don't know if you've ever been there, both waters come through there. And so you've got it much faster and you've got them all. So we've got our bottles ready to go and get our top up of the water. So I always do a little blessing. This, you know, I do my own thing. So what would you say for people that maybe haven't started doing things like that? Or, you know, like even picking up the, you know, I always, everything I do, I bless. But, you know, I do my own funny little rituals. So what would you recommend for people for starting with water and working with crystals?
So, thank you for that. It's great that you've been doing this for this time, and we've been able to show that this does work, and you can even try it on yourself. So when I go to a place, this is what I ask for. I ask for the water to return to the original template, because we don't know exactly how this whole thing is
No.
up. So I'm raising the frequency, lowering the frequency, moving it to this, that, and the other. You know, there's more to get going on than we know. So that's what I try and do. So I ask for it to go through the original template, and then I ask for high vibrational things, like particularly love, community, unity, awakening of consciousness, because all of those are high frequency good programs to put in water, and then it will emanate from there. And then I've started, this is where I brought the water back from the pyramids. What I feel is that we've lost information, and that's why I brought the water back from the springs. So what people are doing, they're going to their local springs where they can get water, and they're starting to put it in bodies of water which have been closed off. It could be a canal, it can be their river, it can be a lake. And the water and all the information in the water should, throughout the whole earth, all be connected up. It should contain all the information that we need. As above, so below. As above, we tend to see this as plasma energy. But and below, we've got the water courses underneath. So I would say to people, just put love and high frequency information into the water, and anybody there. And you can also do it for yourself. And I don't know if you've got time, but I shared a video with you, Jeffrey, because myself and Kelly, we demonstrated with a group of people how putting intention in water changes the biofield of water when it was measured with dowsing rods. And I don't know if you've got time to share that. It's about 4 minutes. But this is very powerful. We had 120 people there, and everybody gasped at once.
Can you see the camera?
Yeah.
So when these dowsing rods find the energetic field of the water, they will start to move. Okay? If you can't see, just come forward a little bit.
So you can't. It's quite hard to see there.
Kind of move energetic field of the water. So if we go a little bit closer across. So probably the water energetic field is probably about 4 inches, 3 inches, something like that. All right. So guys, I'm going to ask you to just come around in a circle.
This is just an average bottle of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So just sit down for me. Right, so now we're just going to do a really quick, simple meditation, right? Okay. So we've just seen the energetic field of the water. It's barely anything. So what I want you to do, I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to put your hand on your heart. And I want you to imagine your most beautiful memory, the memory that you hold the most dear. I want you to remember where you were, who you were with, and the emotion that you felt in that memory.
And when you feel the emotion, that's when you know you're transforming. That feeling in your gut going up here that means your magic is
So
working.
without water, that memory would never have existed. Everything is water. Every single thing on the planet is here because water exists. So to give thanks to the water, I want you to imagine you're putting that love and that intention and that memory that you hold so dear into the water. So I don't know who can feel energy strong. I can. It's really strong right now. It is strong, isn't it? Really strong. Mm. Yeah. All right.
And
So
what she's
when
going
you
to do,
let me give that thanks. When you put your memory into the water, not to open your eyes.
is she's just about to measure it now. And this is where we got the from the crowd.
Power of intention, isn't it?
The power of intention. So when you're actually in that audience, you can feel this vibe because everybody's on the same vibration, right?
All right. So now I'm going to measure the energetic field in water again. All right.
Did you see them like go that
Totally.
much bigger? So she holds them on the top to stop them from moving and then just releases them. That's them. And look how far back it is. Can you see the girl holding the cat?
Everyone's nice,
So
don't
that
you?
represents the power of love. That is how powerful love is. But it's not finished there. So now we can stand in our mind.
And then what she goes on to do is she then goes on to measure everybody's bioforce energy and how far away it is. And the children's have a very big field. She has to go all the way back and she still hasn't got there. And the adults typically have one, you know, maybe just about here. There was one gentleman there who's a little bit wider, and everyone clapped him and says, "Well done, you," for looking after himself so well. And then, but she didn't let them touch each other, and she got the child at the front with because he had the big field, and she said, "I want you to take a strand of your hair and just put it gently onto the arm of the lady next to you." And then she went to go and measure her bioforce energy. Boom!
Really?
She transferred it on, and then she said to that lady, "I want you to go and touch that lady next to you, the man next to you." She did it. Boom! And so we showed how your intention can transform water, and when you can then drink that water, it will transform you. But this is really important. This is where I want to try and help people understand that healing yourself is healing the collective.
Yeah.
So when you are operating in love and compassion, and you can program yourself to be a healing energy, you become a beacon. And not even here, you can be radiating out hundreds of meters around you, healing energy. And you do it, that the medium through which that is done is water, because between me and that person 200 meters away is water. And I am literally sending a Wi-Fi, imagine like this, a Wi-Fi code. And you can become really much more powerful to everyone and everything around you when you put the right programs in. So the other thing to say is I'm a really busy person. I end up doing many things. So I like to use biohacks and shortcuts if I can.
Oh, tell me more. Any techno ones?
Like, so if you create yourself a bottle and you make it structured, the more structured it is, the more it looks like quartz crystal. Structured water is hexagonal water. It's the same structure as quartz crystal. That's why they work very well together. And you know that quartz contains information because it's what, you know, tells you the time in your day. Your liquid crystal display, which everyone's looking at this on, is, you know, it displays information. That's what quartz does. You program it and it shows you. So quartz is the same in that respect. So what you can do is you can make your own bottle of water with all of your intentions. So let's say you're feeling in a positive frame of mind, you've got all this energy, especially if it's in a very good place, like in a house with dead charge energy. Dan Winters talk about this. It is very hard for you to operate this black hole. You need to be outside. You need to have a lot of ions in the air, unless your house does. And this is why a lot of people try this stuff in their flat somewhere with dead charged air, and they can't do it, and they wonder why. And it's because you need what's called charge collapse. And without charge in the air, it won't collapse. So it doesn't work. It's nothing to do with you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just in the wrong place, which is why these sacred sites are much more powerful. So what I'm saying is you can get yourself a bottle in a nice, powerful place, and you can put everything you want to be in there. You can put, I feel calm. I feel creative. I feel love and compassion. And you can put all of these things in there for all the stuff that's going on. You can say, I am healing my leg because she fell over. You don't want to say, I'm healing my pain. The trauma of my broken heart is released. You can program whatever you want, and it's just like using intelligent software. You don't exactly have to say how. You have to say what you want it to be without using negative words like it's really, this is the hardest thing. So then you can program this water, you put it in the nice place, and you've got this water then, it's nicely structured so it'll stay a long while. Put a lid on it, and then that'll last you about a week, 2 weeks. You can put drops in your water, so you don't have to keep having to do it all the time. You've got this. Make yourself a glass of water, put a couple of drops in, and it will transform all of that water. Put it in your plants. People are saying that their plants are better from doing this.
I bet.
And so then you go to your local cenotaph and you're like, I heard what Joe said. I don't think it should be pain and misery. I think we should to love and compassion and great things. Just put the water in. You've already told the water what to do. You just have to unleash it to the world and unleash it to you. And then these things don't take, very long. Put it in your bath. Wash your pets in it. I've found this actually. If you want to see that this really works, right, and you've got animals that are just behaving annoyingly or whatever, like my cats sometimes get like really, and put the water on them, change them with the water, and you'll go, oh my God, it really works. And it does. Prove it to yourself.
Wow, that's amazing. Right, thank you for that. So what about people that don't usually work with crystals, or they go out and buy a couple of crystals? What would you say for programming the crystals?
So programming the crystals is pretty much the same, but first thing you need to remember is, don't forget, when you get a crystal, it's probably already programmed, right? Because it's come from somewhere with intention, with information, and it's holding stuff. So you need to cleanse your crystal. That's what we're saying. You're wiping the hard drive. You've got to wipe the hard drive first. Otherwise, what information are you carrying around? Because your field and your brain then is reading that information. So cleansing is pretty straightforward. I mean, people use like high frequency woods like oud and things like this, and sage and things like this. But honestly, I find the best way is to put them in the ground. Put them in the ground. It's the easiest and quickest way to remove the information, because the earth will, because of its electromagnetic nature of the earth, it will just like wipe the hard drive, and any information that will go on there will be the earth's original template. So just don't do it in a graveyard or anything like that, right? I can't guarantee that, but pretty much put it in a nice part of your garden. You're going to be all right. It's the easiest way to do it. And then when you've got the crystal, put your intention in it. So again, think about your surroundings. If you're in this is what Dan Winter says, an electro-smog, air environment without any charge, it's not really going to work very well. So do it outside and really put it in. And you will know. So what was interesting listening to Kelly is she was saying, and feel it. And this is what it is. The emotions are telling you what's going on in your wider self, best way to describe it. So when you feel that, excitement and really great feeling, that means something's happening. So it's not hard. That's all you need to do. You just need to feel really excited about what it is you're doing. And if you don't, fake it before you make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
At first, you might physically have to make yourself do it, which you can make yourself feel that joy. And then because you're feeling a bit nervous, you've got to override it and pump in a little bit more power. But really, you'll start getting used to it and you'll be excited every time, especially when you know you can do it, to children, my children, right? So they're being a bit irritating today. They've had too many blue Smarties. Let's let's put some magic in the water, shall we? And have a nice calm peaceful rest of the day.
Sounds like a good plan. Not that I got any. What about people? Because I haven't done it for a long time, but in the past I've put, I've cleansed the crystal and then I've put it in the water. I know people still do that. So would you recommend that as well?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. There's another way that you can do it. Yes, you're right. So in combination with crystals and water, which is what we teach in the Crystal Water Experience. So we're just starting new out on this, guys, and the website isn't quite up and running yet. But I would
it's in the flow.
We're going in the flow, yeah. And if anybody knows how to use WordPress and can help me set up the website, please let me know, because this is it's really doing my head in. I've used lots of website builders before, but this one is really challenging me. So we're going to do these online courses and demonstrate to me, because seeing is believing and feeling is believing in experiences. So the difference between crystals and water is crystals will hold that frequency for longer. And the water the more structured the water is. So if the water isn't structured, let's just go back a minute. Structure means it's the shape of the environment in which the vibrations and the frequencies are manifest. So so people talk a lot about everything's frequency, but it's in frequency in an area. So if I was in a big hall and I played a trumpet, the same note, it would sound very different as if I did it in my living room, because the sound waves are bouncing off and coming to and from, and as they're coming in, they're changing and they're intermingling, so you're getting a different sound. So the same with the water in your body. When it's structured, the same frequency will have a different impact on you, because each of these structured cells will then hold that frequency and bounce that around in those echo chambers in a different way. The same with the crystals. And different crystals have different minerals in as well, which are emitting their frequency. That's what they're doing effectively. So when you're holding that quartz crystal, it holds that frequency for longer. So what I say is if you work with the two together, especially if you've got some trauma you want to get rid of, and this will work deep into your DNA levels. You put the same intention into your water as your crystal, and you wear your crystal. So that information is a constant reminder. So as that intrusive thought comes in, where you're thinking sad about a particular event or you're triggered, it helps remind you, no, we're getting this out, because repeated traumas have very strong connections. And every time you keep talking about them and revisiting them, you're just making that connection bigger. And all you want to do is to sprinkle. What I say to anybody is, if you've got any traumatic event or a negative feeling or about an event or a person or anything, it doesn't matter whether you were right, they were right. It doesn't matter if it was the worst experience or the best experience you had. It makes no difference. If you want to keep revisiting that, the best way you can do that is think negatively about it, and you will continue to feel that for as long as you want to. But if you don't, and you have no judgment, and it might not have been your fault, it might have been horrific, but if you don't want to carry on and experience it, you have to remove it now. And so your only way to remove it is by putting a higher frequency, and the high frequency is love and compassion. And all you have to say is, whenever there's it'll be peeling through your mind, or you'll be thinking about it, you just need to say love and compassion, love and compassion. That's all I say as a mantra. And then you forget what you were thinking about. Then it might pop up again, and you just say love and compassion. You drown out your thoughts with love and compassion, and pretty soon that feeling fades. Depends on how long you've had it as to how long that it happens. But literally, you are changing the energetic frequency to that event. Because if time doesn't exist, which it doesn't, and everything is happening in the now, we're just conscious. Whatever happened to you when, I don't know, you were 20 and you can't get over it, it is happening now. And every time you think about it, you're bringing it into the now. So if that's true, you can also get rid of it now, because you don't need to suffer. It doesn't matter who was right and who was wrong. You are suffering. And why do you want to suffer? And is it because you're afraid of moving on to the person who isn't suffering, and then you're taking accountability and responsibility for everything that you are now? Now that's scary, but you can program that in the water. I am not afraid. I am powerful. I can do this. Put that in the water and it'll help you get through that moment, because there's such a lot of trauma about, such a lot of programming, that, you know, this is why we want to bring the crystal water experience next weekend. We're at the Hope Sussex Festival, and we're going to do this on a mass scale.
Really fantastic.
So we're going to give everybody's going to be drinking water with monatomic gold in, and have a crystal. There's going to be up to 500 people there.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to do that demonstration on the stage that Kelly did. We're going to do the transfer of information experiment. We're also going to show people that when you hold your mobile phone, what happens to your biofield. But it doesn't stop there. This is what I'm really excited about. We've also shown that if you put the right geometry with the right intention onto your mobile phone, it all of a sudden becomes positive for your biofield.
God, we all need that.
So we figured out that the power of this. You can then transfer your phone to become a beacon of, you know, good for you, healthy, because what the intention that we put into these stickers is to remove harmful EMF, because everybody, you are EMF. We can't remove EMF because you wouldn't be here, because you are an electromagnetic field. So if we remove harmful, we can put into that field boost positive and love and compassion, which naturally boosts you. That's what I talk about, the power of love. Because when you're thinking in that mindset, your biofield goes up, and it's the same thing. So we're going to turn people into beacons of positive life force energy, and we're going to do that live on stage. No pressure. We haven't done it live to that many people before, but we will do it. And yeah, we're looking forward to get this out. So thank you very much for the people who've listened to what I've said so far. I'm trying to get the website up and running so I can get a newsletter, because we're going to be doing these crystal water experiences in person. But we've also got them to work, you know, online. You know, these black mirror devices, these liquid crystal displays, are very powerful still at transmitting information. We've been able to show you can transfer information from frequency, from intention through these, which is, we can use their technology for our benefit.
Yeah, turn it around, flipping it around, eh?
Flip it.
Do we need this more now than ever? Flipping out.
Yes, and it's like, this is where I'm obviously what's happening with the you know, the various rollouts of the various technologies. We can flip it, and which is why Kelly's shown previously with these stickers. She's put them on people's Wi-Fi and negated the negative electromagnetic field, and it's then become a positive frequency. You can put these stickers, you know, and you can as well. You can create these things and put them on your water pipes. What we've learned is it has to be the right geometry.
Yeah.
Because with the wrong geometry, it doesn't last, because it's constantly got to do a job. You need to create a geometry that is ever perpetuating. And I know this because I've actually got one. I've got one on the back of my phone, and it's
can't see. Oh, right.
Oh, it just came on quickly.
I saw it briefly.
Sorry. Very good. Anyway, it's not liking that. It's not a person.
So people can buy these now. Are you selling them?
We hope our delivery hopefully came today.
Right.
So we're going to be selling them very soon. So people, please get in touch with me when they're there, because Kelly in particular has been messing around with these for a long time. I've got this sticker on my phone, and at first it worked, and then when I tested it again with Kelly, it doesn't work anymore, right? And it's a shungite one, and you know why? It's the wrong geometry. And so Kelly, in particular, I'm really grateful for Kelly, has been doing loads of work on this on time because she wants to put them on pets and things like that and people. So she's her own geometry, but based on the principles of knowing it's to keep it perpetual. And she also can download. This was her gift to give. She's got a very, very interesting story. She was diagnosed with a terminal illness. With people normally have 5 years to live, and they told her at year 4. And she ended up not dying, very, very much alive. And she got herself out of a wheelchair, now walking around. And she had promised she made to herself is if she could get out, she wanted to understand how to heal people, and she would share that knowledge. So this is what she's been working on, and she's been working on with water, and that's why me and her have come together to bring, science and spirituality collide, because what she was able to do is when her body reset after going through that intense healing, after literally saying to her mum, I think I'm going to die tonight, to not dying, completely reset. And she started feeling energy. And one of the gifts that she has is she can channel frequencies. And these frequencies, oh man, have I got a bottle? She teaches people how to do this in their course. So it's like, I haven't got it here to show, but she's writing, and it literally, I'm just going to make one up just so you can, oh God, I can't see Carol with this. Yeah, so, it doesn't look like that, but it's an actual frequency. And when you put them on the bottle, on a bottle of water, and you use them, and she's done live events where she's put them up, and people have put their water bottle next to it on their computer screen, that frequency has gone in. People have found them healing pain. I mean, this isn't like little things. Using the frequencies. So we want to get this information out to people. And one of the things she's channeled, which is really important, is when we put a frequency in, it's also got a lock which stops it degrading, which I learnt from my phone one that didn't work. We've got ones which is locked in, and she's used this technique for several years, and she's still got a pendant that she wears all the time, and it still works. You can't do the rods on Kelly when she's got a thing on because it's too big, because her device is doing its job. So we're looking forward to sharing that with people. So in the meantime, before we've got everything up and running, if people want to just reach out to me, then I'll put them on the waiting list for when they're available, etc.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. And this is what needed now. We're in the greatest time of history, the greatest time of change, with all sorts going on. But like all the debris, you could say we're like the diamonds in the mine. They've gone down, 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 and the diamonds are now ready to come out and shine, and all the dross is gone.
I love that.
So, yeah, the time is now more than ever. People are having more of awareness. They're feeling more. They're sensing more. They realise, people have not been telling truths, and it's coming out more and more. So it's like being ready to help those people now more than ever that want some of the tools in our tool bag, eh?
Tools in the tool bag, yes, exactly. And I would just want to encourage people that you can do this. It is much easier than you think that it is, because they've made it seem like this is really complicated. But think about it like this. If we weren't so powerful, why do they need all these toxins constantly in our environment?
Yeah.
If it works, they wouldn't need to keep doing it. And there's a very good reason why they carry on. But for those of us that are broken out of that, I'm not worried about what's going on in the environment around me or anything.
No.
we're too powerful now. We've got it. And the more that people realize that, the more, you saw with the pandemic, most of it was psychological. Absolutely most of it was psychological. And then, when you think something's going to happen, it does. You talk yourself into it. You program yourself through the water. Let's not do that, shall we, people? Let's program good things.
And there's
heroes.
Yeah, there's all sorts of rumours about different poxes that are on their way. Well, they might be on their way for some, but it's not for us lot. We're well aware we're not playing that game,
We're not playing.
And the more we come together and stand together, support each other, we are standing up. We're not playing this game anymore.
Yeah,
taking back full control.
Full control, like dreaming the new dream. And people say to me, oh, yes, well, I can't remember. They're talking about how old I'm going to be. I'm like, I'm going to live till I'm 150 and I'm going to be I'm going to be really sprightly. And they said, what do you mean? I went, I just am. I don't know what you're doing, but that is what, and it's going to be, this is really exciting now. And everything's really interesting. And they're like, but there's this and that. I'm like, this just doesn't happen in my reality. I don't know what you're on about. It's not. And they said,
right.
You're lucky. I'm like, no, I'm literally creating my own reality because we live in a virtual reality thing. So honestly, change your mindset and your whole life changes.
Yeah, totally. And that's what we're helping people.
Yeah.
And people are coming on sharing, giving their words of wisdom. So, you've been amazing again, Jo. Absolutely fabulous. So maybe we'll have to ask Kelly to come on the show and talk about her work as well at some point. So
we have the two of them on.
Pardon? I was going to say, and also perhaps you can come and share. Both of you come and share your experiences when you do this big event, and if you put it out there, we can share it as well, that we can get everybody tuning in at the same time. So like the more of us on a collective can tune in to help, the bigger vision.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Yes, and I will send you a.
Oh, right. Okay.
When they come as well.
All right. Bless you. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Dreaming a New Dream. It's been another phenomenal show. So thank you, Jo. Thank you, Jeffrey. And same time, same place next week.
Thank you.
Very good.